Okay, good. Okay. All right, guys. I decided I would go ahead and go live with this. I know it's been a very long time since you've heard anything from me. Um, it's kind of one of the things I want to do. Since I'm working on this computer, I've been working on this all day long. And since I'm working on it, I thought I might as well, live stream too and say some things. So currently, it is 8:48 p.m. Central Standard or Central Daylight Time, which gives me about another hour or so that I can work on this before I have to quit. Uh, but anyway, if you don't know me, my name is Elemento. I am the host, owner, and executive, so on, of TwistedCurve Productions and this channel, Technoscope. Um, yeah, my life has been hectic lately, so that's why I haven't been making many videos, but um, I do plan to change that, and that's kind of one of the things I want to talk about randomly as I work on this computer. Um, so, I'm doing this from my iPad, which is a first for me. I'm not used to using tablets for cameras and streaming and stuff, but I need to be able to place this on the desk and show you what's going on. No video capture today. The process of setting all that up is way more complicated than I want to spend time doing. So right now, just going to use the iPad. Um, so what I'm going to talk about real quick is what's going on with this, and then we'll get into what's going on with the channel. Um, this computer I built in July, early July, for a friend. She wanted to use her old case because she wanted to put every dollar she had in performance. So it became this sleeper build that has an old, very old looking case, but pretty decent performance considering the hardware that it has in it. However, she let it sit around for like a month because she had other things going on in life. And then when she finally set it all up, I had everything working. I had it working on the stream, and she took it home. She finally set it up, and things just suddenly broke. What I can gather from what I've seen is that it has something to do with the update to Windows 10 1903, which is the May update. It seems to have broken everything, and for the life of me, I'm not really sure how to get it to work with Windows 1903, and I don't really have a way to install 1809, which I believe was the old one. I believe it was 1809, the last October. It was stable with that version of Windows, but 1903 is not so much. Um, Not entirely sure it's Windows, but I'm pretty sure it is. She had two issues she came to me with. One was the computer started hanging at boot for some reason. Don't know what that was about. So I completely reset the BIOS. Um, and apparently it's like an issue that other people were having. So that itself is kind of weird. But that doesn't mean that it's not Windows related, because the way that computers work nowadays, with the UEFI, Windows is tied in directly with the boot process, from the moment the post process begins to the moment it starts loading the OS. So it could still be Windows, and it's oh my goodness. But anyway, so to catch you up on what I've been doing all day long, I have, I tried doing all the things I could, reinstalling the drivers, going into safe mode, using DDU, which is display driver uninstaller. Um, I've tried wiping the computer. I deleted everything on the boot drive. I even deleted every. Well, there weren't many files on her secondary drive. It was just stuff I had downloaded, drivers and stuff. I saved the stuff I needed to do and completely wiped both drives on the computer. So it's like starting over from fresh, from the first install. Reset the BIOS to all the defaults and put Windows on there, and it still has the same problems. You cannot install the display driver without the computer hanging. Um, you can't install. I can't even install the old display driver that I used when I first built the computer without the computer hanging. It's the weirdest thing, and I'm pretty sure this is 100% Windows related. Um, I can't narrow. I haven't been able to narrow it down to anything else. Um, That's not to say that AMD doesn't have a part to play in this, because their software is still kind of immature, and it's likely that, you know, in some kind of way, they're partially responsible, because they probably haven't gotten things that Microsoft needed to fully, you know, evaluate what they need to do. I'm not going to say test, because Microsoft doesn't test anymore. They use us as guinea pigs, so there's no reason to saying test, but they probably haven't evaluated the hardware and software enough to get it to a point where it's fully stable. So brand new hardware, brand new Windows release, and it's pretty much a flustercluck. So that's where we are. Again, so this is the third time I've wiped the drives. This time I'm starting over after updating the BIOS to the new beta version. So hopefully we can get a little further. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click through a lot of this stuff and get it going. On most of this stuff I just accept and go back and add it later. As you can see, it's saying, you know, you're not connected to a network. I've purposely disconnected the Ethernet cable, because people have said that I've heard from things that she's read and shown me that the drivers that Windows automatically downloads from Microsoft can interfere as well. So I've completely disabled the Ethernet until I can try to get the drivers I want on there. Let's see, how do I go back to chat? Okay. It's definitely, Techie Rod says it's definitely Windows. I'm pretty sure I'm 90% sure it is. Having issues with overclock memory after updates, sir. I've completely disabled all overclocks. It's running bare stock right now. Don't know why I'm having this problem. Running 2700 and 5700 XT. This one right here is the 5700 XT graphics card. That is the 3700X, and yeah, just problems galore. MMXIX asks, which update is this? This is the Windows 1903 May update. Well, it was the update. So I made a new media creation tool to reinstall Windows, and of course it's 1903 as well. So we're installing 1903, but a fresh copy of it. So I don't know. There's not much I can do about that. But yeah, let's. I'm gonna try to work through this, and hopefully this time, you know, hopefully it gets where it needs to go. I don't know. No, continue with limited setup. So I'm gonna put the iPad down, but I'm still gonna talk to you guys. I cannot necessarily see the chat, but I'll go back and look at them as we go through this. And that's a little bit too high. Let's see, needs to be up about a 1/4 inch. That looks good, right? Okay. So, type her name. Skip that. Like I said, guys, I just, you know, accept everything at this point and go back and turn off things later on. I just need it working right now. I've been working on this since this morning, since I got up, you know, started working on this. Took a pause to help another friend. Watched a little bit of the football game, and now I'm back on this. I can't say this much. It is fast, you know, as far as everything else goes. It's just, I don't know. She can't play games on it. It was crashing when she tried. Just trying to get into games, it would almost immediately crash for her. And the only thing I've been able to do is kind of like sideload drivers by going through the device manager. But I haven't been able, not one time since she's given me this computer on Friday or Thursday, I have not been able to install drivers using any of the AMD provided driver installers. Even the one that I used when I first built the computer, it just doesn't work. I don't know. It's annoying. So, okay, almost there. Alright, so I got the Ethernet unplugged. It's not installing anything. Let's see what drivers it needs by default. Okay, so it's asking for PCI device. Okay, so last time I wiped it, I started off by installing the chipset drivers, which is normally my first step on any computer build. I think this time I'm just going to go ahead and try the display drivers. And I'm going to try the old ones that from when I first built the computer, see if I can get it to, work better. So, let's see. This is the July 7th release. And you'll know immediately if it works or not. The symptom that you'll see is when you start the installer, before it even starts installing, the first thing it does is it tries to detect if there's an updated driver and what hardware you have. And that's immediately where it's been freezing and locking up. And the computer sometimes blue screens, but more often than not, it just reboots. And next thing you see is a black screen followed by the BIOS, the post screen. So we're gonna let's go ahead and try this. Accept and custom install. This is the screen right here. One click. This is where it normally gets stuck. And there it is. Mouse does not. Well, the mouse is like jumping around, but it usually does that like shortly before it restarts. The circle, I don't know if you can see that from there. The circle stops spinning. So usually what it does here is after about 10 to 15 seconds, the mouse will stop moving now. It'll just restart itself. Sometimes it'll blue screen, sometimes it won't. Oh, goodness, this is frustrating. And there we go. This is a brand new install of Windows, guys. Brand new install. I haven't done anything. It's this is the beta BIOS now. I have it set to all defaults except for the fact that it's set to boot Windows as UEFI instead of legacy. But that shouldn't be causing this problem unless something is seriously wrong with the BIOS. And so that makes two different versions of the BIOS that I've tried. I just don't know. If you guys have any ideas what could be causing this, I would love to hear it. I mean, if there's anything that I can do about it without just saying AMD and Microsoft need to get their crap together, because this is annoying. So, again, the Ethernet adapter is the Ethernet cable is still unplugged, so nothing should be installed. Let's see. Under display driver, this is how you know that it has not installed the AMD driver for the display. Still says Microsoft Basic Display Adapter, and I've tried, seeing if maybe it could, run a game or run something like that, and it won't. It just it won't even run, the basic Fairmark benchmark. It said that it doesn't have the drivers installed. So I guess the next thing I can try is try to install. Well, I can do this. I can show you the other way that I was trying to install the driver. Let's try this. So this way that I've been able to get it to actually show that the driver is installed by doing this, but I haven't had much success actually, getting everything working like it should. So I'll go to my flash drive where I have the and again, this is the old driver from back in July with the release. It was working when she left with the computer. Include subfolders, next. So it finds the driver. It'll tell me soon that it's not. It can't tell me. It doesn't know if it's a signed driver, or it can't identify the manufacturer or something like that. Whatever the error is, it'll tell me that, and then it'll try to install. And sometimes it makes it. Sometimes it just freezes and reboots. So, but no matter what the result is, it doesn't get the computer working like it should. And there's that window. Windows can't verify the publisher of this driver software. So anyway, I know that it comes from Radeon because I downloaded it myself. And I think it's frozen now. Yep, it's frozen. Oh goodness. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. What's possible? What can be done? Anyway, if you guys can think of anything, if you learn anything, shoot it my way. I'm on Twitter at Technoscope TV or at Elemental Musgrove. If you want to, send it to my personal one. I really don't know what can be done at this point because I've tried pretty much anything I can think of, and it's really out of my hands. And I'll tell you the extent that I've gone. I've gone to safe mode. I've booted the computer in safe mode. I've used DDU driver, display driver uninstaller. I've done from a fresh boot going into safe mode and installed the drivers. And I actually got the newest driver update installed by doing it that, backwards way of going through the device manager. Got it installed and then reboot it into normal Windows, and it just has a little triangle by it saying that it can't it can't start the device. So even though the driver was finally installed, it was still having issues. So back in Windows again. Let's see if it did anything last time. And it still says Microsoft Basic Display Adapter. So nothing happened. I've tried all the other previous attempts. I tried installing the chipset drivers first because that's what I normally do. Because Logic, says that it needs the chipset to work, but nothing I've done has worked so far. Nothing I've tried. Honestly, I think the fix for this right now is honestly to find a copy of 1809, go back to it, and then prevent Windows from updating to 1903 because it was working fine before this. I mean, it's a functional computer, but she can't play games on it, which defeats the purpose of building this thing. Let's see. Craig Lily says, if your RAM is overclocked, have you tried turning it to at stock speed? Craig, everything is default right now. I've reset the BIOS I don't know how many times. I even updated the firmware to the beta to see if that would fix it. Nothing has worked so far. Maddox asks, which motherboard is this? This is the MSI X570 Gaming Plus. It's not a high-end board, but that really shouldn't matter that much, especially when you're just running at stock speeds. The high-end gaming boards are more for when you need that super stable voltage for the processor at high power usage. This motherboard should be more than capable of running stock speeds without having any issues. The chipset is the AMD chipset, so it may be a cheaper motherboard, but unless there's like a serious flaw in there, that shouldn't matter. It really shouldn't. But the other thing is, there are other people having these issues with different boards. So I think really it's a Microsoft. I think it's really a Microsoft thing. Let's see. So some of the things I've heard were try to use DDU, boot into safe mode to install drivers. I've tried all that. Change the video to Gen 3 instead. I've tried doing that. I've tried limiting the PCI Express to Gen 3. I've tried setting it manually to Gen 3. That still didn't work. Actually, I take that back. It kind of sort of helped, because that was how I was able to get past the point where it installed the old driver the backwards way of going through Device Manager, but it still wouldn't let me play games or do anything like that. I don't know. So yeah, PCI Express 4.0 I think has something to do with it, but I don't think it's a problem with PCI Express 4. I think it's a problem with Microsoft not recognizing, or not, sufficiently getting the bugs out of this version of Windows before they released it. Of course, since these new AMD CPUs are the only thing using PCI Express 4.0, that's the number of people using PCI 4.0 is a very small percentage of people, but that doesn't matter. I mean, Microsoft should be on top of things like that. Let's see what else she said. Try NVIDIA GPU. I've been tempted to do that, but the problem is I have to dig one out to do it. And I mean that might work as far as getting a GPU working, but the person this computer belongs to, she definitely wants AMD hardware in here. I'll tell you one thing I did try. I pulled this old guy out the other day. This is the video card I was using before Sledgehammer was built. My old computer that I built it in 2009, but this card was like 2011 or something like that. I don't know. But I put that card in the computer, and it was still having the same issues. And you put that in the computer, try to run the driver installer, and the driver installer still locks up. It tells you that it's not the video card, it's something else. But I'm not ready to blame the motherboard yet. And I seriously doubt that AMD has a flaw, like that in their processors. I would find that seriously hard to believe. If anything, I would say this is a Microsoft problem. The fact that they just don't test Windows anymore. They don't test their software. They send it out there and rely on telemetry and bug reports from customers that are having problems before they fix stuff. I hate that business model. But that's the world we live in now. I'm very tempted to put Linux on here, but I'm not a big Linux person. But I know it at least if it would have different problems if not these. Might be able to get it working fine. I don't know. I've heard other things like try installing the C++ redistributable package, before you run the driver installer. I did try that. That did not work. Don't know. Everything that I know about computers that you're supposed to try, none of it has worked so far. Got to be 1903. Yeah, I think it is. I think this is a Windows thing. I mean, we have, everything that matters is brand new. The motherboard's brand new. The RAM is brand new. Everything is at base clock speed. GPU's brand new. All the fans are running at normal or at stock speed right now because my fan curves were deleted with the reset. That's a brand new power supply. It passed all the post tests and everything, but we still have these issues. Yeah, I don't know. So I was going to talk about other stuff on this video while I was working on this, but at this point, I think I'm just gonna cut it off. But I do need to make another video because I need to get this channel going again, and I think what we're gonna end up doing is a full reboot of the channel. But I wanna save what I want to do for another video instead of putting in this one, because this one is just everybody having these problems are gonna come look at this video. So I'm gonna cut it off here. If I find out anything else, anything new, if I ever figure out eventually, something that I've been missing, I will put that on. I might make another short video for this, or I'll put it on Twitter or something like that. Let's see. What did you say, MMXIX? Not overheating. Yeah, this is definitely not overheating. Like I said, everything is running at the default speeds right now. We got two Corsair fans, four pin PWM fans running in the front, a 120 running in the back, and this, the what do you call it, Wraith cooler. It's not a wonderful CPU cooler, but it's definitely not terrible. It's probably the best stock cooler I've ever seen, and so far it's been keeping it sufficiently cool. So, and on the front, this it might be a sleeper build, old school ugly case and everything, but this right here is all mesh and ventilation. It is nothing but there's like a filter built into it that I cleaned out, and then you have the two fans directly behind it. So might be an old case, but it's definitely suitable for a high-end PC. It just doesn't have the looks of today's fancy computers, but it'll definitely work. And Craig said, hope you figured out. Good luck. Yeah, thanks, man. And I've been looking at this for a couple days. She was supposed to come pick it up today, but it's still just not ready. I thought I'd have it figured out by now. MMXIX, how much to build me a Threadripper? I have no idea. I haven't even priced Threadripper hardware. This computer, she provided the case. We bought everything else, and because she's a close friend, I didn't charge her labor like I normally would. Normally labor is like 15% over whatever the cost is, but her build price was about like $1,250, $1,300, something like that for this computer. No case. We just put the money into all hardware. There's a 1 terabyte SSD right there. She already had that 500 gig hard drive. She actually wanted me to use that, but I was like, no. If we're going to build a high-end computer, we definitely have to go with an SSD, because you're not going to build a computer like this and have it run slow. It just makes me look bad, and it makes the hardware look bad. So it's not the best SSD. It's one of those Intel 660p, I think is what the model number. So basically the cheapest name brand M.2 NVMe drive you can get. Not super fast, but it works. And keep in mind, this is PCI Express 4, so if we had, something like the new Corsair, or whenever Samsung drops their new drive, which is probably going to kill everybody, this thing could easily, reach speeds of 4,500 megabytes per second or more. I've seen some benchmarks, and they're quite impressive. This guy will only do like 2,000 or something like that, which is not bad still, but not as much as it could do. For me to build it part separately, it's just 15% over whatever the hardware cost is. That's what I charge. We'd have to figure out, what all the parts are and things like that. So if it's $1,000. If it's like $1,000 build, I would charge $150 to do, all the labor. I'd have it, stable and everything before I send it to you. And if it has these problems, you're getting a hell of a deal, because this is a pain in the butt to get working. Yeah, I've been working. Like I said, I've been working on this for like 3 days, and I'm not charging her for this labor. This is just, it makes me look bad if I build a new computer and send it out to somebody, even though it was working when I sent it to her. The fact that it's not working now really bothers me, because I'm the one that built this computer. I didn't use this. I didn't pick this case, but you know, the hardware inside of there is more or less me. She said she wanted to go with AMD, and I talked her into waiting for the new platform to come out, waiting for this new processor, waiting for this new GPU, and now we're having these problems all because I told her to wait on this stuff. So yeah, I kind of feel bad about that. If we would have just went with the stuff she had chosen, we wouldn't have these problems right now. So that kind of makes me feel bad. But yeah, like if it's a $1,000 computer, you know, my fee would be $150. But yeah. So, like I said, I'm gonna make a different video for the what I want to talk about on where I want this channel to go. I do have plans for it. There are there are a lot of things. Oh, let me show you this real quick. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna put the iPad down. I'll be right back. Give me like 5 seconds. So this, I'm going to be making a video about. This is a prototype. This box right here that you see in front of me, it came in that. There's no product boxing for it yet or anything, but they emailed me and asked me if I wanted to test it, and I was like, hell yeah, because, you know, years ago, I made a switch from PC gaming to from PC gaming to console gaming, because I thought the mouse and keyboard did not really represent what it's like to use a gun in any form or fashion, and as well as for driving games. You know, you don't use a mouse. You don't, using the keyboards is either on or off. It just didn't seem right to me. So I made a switch to console gaming for a while, which is how this channel got started, because I was big into that stuff when I started making YouTube videos again. But this kind of solves that problem. This right here, they sent me to test, is a mouse. It's a prototype mouse, and for the buttons, you have triggers. And I kind of wish they were like clicky, like the zapper for the Nintendo. But man, seriously, this right here, I don't know why nobody's thought of this before. It just seems, logical when you think about it. And then, by the way, it's rechargeable. There's a recharging port right there. There's your, your what do you call it? Your sensor, your optical sensor, on-off switch, and a place to store the little USB dongle that comes with it. Yeah, so I'm gonna be reviewing this. It'll be one of my next videos, getting back into things. So y'all should look for that. But yeah, that's a little sneak peek of where we're going. But yeah, guys, if I forgot anything, I'll definitely post it to the channel. Post it on the community the community and Twitter. So look for it in those places. Also, guys, I need to get sources of news, because I've been planning this podcast that we want to kick off for a long time, and now that I'm back in my day job, I don't have time to look at tech news as much as I used to. If you've been following the Twitter page or the Facebook page, you know that one of the things that you can rely on from my channel is tech news, especially the big stories. If it's a really big story, I don't care, where I am. I will post it, and it will show up on the Facebook and the Twitter page. But I need more stories, and I need more content. So if y'all want, go to the Discord page, and there is a page on there where you can actually post news articles. And when I get that podcast going, those stories will show up in the podcast, as well as if I post it to the Twitter page or anything, I'll give you credit for it. You're the source of where it came from. I believe the link, I'll have to post it later, but I believe if you go to discord.tks tks.twistedcurve.com. I know that's a lot, but think of everything as tks.twistedcurve.com and just put Discord dot in front of it, and it should take you to the Discord server. The technoscope.tv pay URL is gone now. I didn't have the $40 to pay for that for this year, so I'm actually going to get rid of those because I was running at one point like 6 of those URLs, and that gets kind of pricey when you keep renewing those and you're not using them. But yeah, so stay active. I'm going to be back with another video probably in a day or two, maybe tomorrow if I have time. And we're going to talk about where this channel is going. So stay tuned for that, and we'll probably work on this computer as I'm going through that stuff. So I'll see y'all probably tomorrow. Y'all have a good night, and if I learn anything, I'll let you know. And yeah, how do you get in this? Okay. All right, guys, have a good night.